All right, so welcome everyone to the online or online and on campus MBA new student orientation. We are very excited for everyone to join us. And I am going to turn it over to our infamous MBA director, Ernie.
I don't understand all this love. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So glad you're here. Thanks for showing up. We have a big class incoming and we're happy to have you. The winter break seems to have been longer than we realized. And so we're just ready to get on with it. So here we go. Please keep in mind that if you have any questions at any time during the presentation, you can either unmute and speak up, that's okay, or you can send a question via chat. Molly will be monitoring chat. The intent of this orientation is to help you better understand what you signed up for and what you can look forward to. So getting your questions answered is primary to our purpose here tonight. So can we go ahead and move into the presentation then, Kirsten, and we'll get started. All right, so we're going to do the welcome. We've kind of done that. Thank you so much for being here. We'll go into introducing MBA team. Some you know, some you may not. We'll do appointments, policies, so forth. So everybody has a part to play tonight. Let's get into the team intros. All right, so me, you have met virtually. Ernie Silvers. I also teach in the School of Entrepreneurship. I am the MBA director. I've been with the college for 9 years. I am available at any time during your program stay. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Feel free to stop by, make an appointment. Do not hesitate to come and see me or ask a question if you need. I'm completely available for you. We have Mr. DeLorean West. Can you introduce yourself, Mr. West?
Hi, I'm DeLorean West. I am the program advisor. So most of you will be coming to see me on a regular basis regarding your class schedules.
That's right. And then we have Office Manager, Engagement Coordinator Extraordinaire, Kirsten Hansen.
Hello.
Molly, can you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, I have a feeling that most of you know me, at least a little bit, because we've had the pleasure of doing application interviews together. And so I handle the marketing and recruitment for the MBA program, but I'm always happy to say hi to you in the halls, or you can always stop into the office because it'd be fun to see your face in person. And so that's me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Pamela Abel, Dr. Pamela Abel is the best resume writer on campus. She's not with us tonight, but she is accessible to you throughout your stay in the MBA program. Next, we have Ms. Jolene Redvale. Jolene, you want to introduce yourself, please?
Hello, everybody. Looking over all the names on my screen here, I recognize several names. So I work with the online students, and my role for you is primarily in registration, helping you manage your payments, and being there to answer questions as needed.
Absolutely. And then last but not least is that dashing young man, Mr. George Ruiz. George Lopez Ruiz, are you going to step up for us tonight and introduce yourself, sir?
Yes, sir. George Lopez Ruiz. I am the student advisor for the online MBA for Executives program, and I work very closely with Ms. Jolene Redvale.
Absolutely. So we have a dynamite team together for you. All of us at any time are available to assist you. And again, I encourage you, anytime you have questions, please reach out and ask those questions early and often. It's our job to help you have a great experience while you're here at the Jack Brown College. So welcome. Next slide, please. Office staff contact information. Now that we're back on campus, even online folks, although you won't be coming to campus much, we are located in Jack Brown Hall. Office is in JB 283. You can get a hold of us by phone. You can email either MBA direct, the MBA at CSUSB, or each of us have our own individual emails. 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. If you have any questions about that, let us know. Next slide, please. Kirsten, is this you, the MBA appointment system? You want to talk about this?
Sure, I will happily talk about this.
Please
We were forced to innovate during COVID, and we have found that we really enjoy it. For ease of functionality and access, we have set up an online appointment booking system. It allows you to see when we are available. So you can call or potentially email or things like that. We may not get to it. We get to it when we have time. We try and be as quick as possible with that. But if you have more than just a quick question, we suggest that you make an appointment with us. That way, you know for sure that you will be able to get the assistance that you need. And we will give you our undivided attention during that time. So you can make appointments. It's very easy. Go to our website. You click on that blue button that there's a picture of right there. And then it'll pop you up to this screen over here, and it will show you all of the different appointments that you can make with us. So I'm sure a lot of you have done it already when making your application interview with Molly, or potentially asking some questions. You can also use that for advising with DeLorean. You can see when he is available, his next available appointment, book it there, you're good to go. These are typically fully virtual. If you would like it in person or you need any accommodations, all you have to do is either include that when you're making the appointment or send us a quick message that you're either going to be coming to campus or you need a telephone or whatever, right? We're happy to do what works for you in the situation. So super easy, great way to get a hold of DeLorean for advising at any time. If you have questions about student engagement, if you need help with your resume, if you want to make an appointment with Ernie, I don't put his on there. You have to come to me directly to get the ability to book with Ernie. But similar thing is going to be happening with a booking system. So definitely please use that. It's helpful for us to make sure that we're able to serve as many students as possible. So if you have questions about that, if you have any difficulty with it or anything like that, I oversee that portion. You're welcome to give me a call, send me an email, and I can assist you in any way with that. So Lauren, you have anything to add?
No, I think you covered it all.
Okay, excellent. All right. Additionally, you can always connect with us on our different social media platforms. Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook. Molly's always sharing really great quotes of the day that I love seeing come through. Super inspirational and fun. We also post our upcoming events and things like that. It's a great way to stay connected with us. Ernie and I will also share different internships or things like that available on LinkedIn. And then our YouTube holds our events that if maybe you're not able to attend in person, you can go there and view any of our previous events. And then typically within a couple of weeks, we have any of the new ones posted up there for you to view and use as a resource at any time. So definitely like, follow, share, all that jazz. DeLorean, I'm gonna turn it over to you now.
Okay, thanks, Kirsten. All right, so this slide shows you the different programs that we offer. So all of you who are here today should fall into one of these categories. You're either in our traditional program, which means you do have a concentration attached to your program, and you will take a couple classes specific to that concentration. The next degree we offer is the executive degree, and that is the on-campus executive degree. For the executive degree, you don't actually choose a concentration. Rather, you will get to take one elective course of your choosing. We give you some parameters, which we'll discuss on your program plan in the coming slides, but you get to choose which course you want to take for that one elective course. And then last but not least is our fully online MBA executive program. For that, we do offer 5 electives per academic year. And you will get to choose which elective you wish to take. I always make my recommendation for you on your program plan. So you will see that already indicated on your program plan for the online students for that elective. And I'll be filling that in a little bit later in your program once the schedule is released for that particular term. Next slide, please. All right, so this is a copy of your MBA program plan. So all of you should have received a copy of this from me, customized to you. This will list all the courses that are required for the MBA program. So this is going to be your guide as you go through the program. When you schedule an appointment to meet with me, I'm going to pull this up on the screen so we can go over this together. I will be updating this at the end of every term and sending you an updated, what I call a progress email that has an updated copy of your program plan. And that way you can follow along as you go through the program. So just to kind of summarize, if we start at the top, the foundation courses, the majority of you will take your foundation courses in your first term. So we've already enrolled the on-campus students in those, and then Jolene enrolls the online students in those. Underneath that, we have the essential courses. There are 7 of those. So the essential courses are offered in the fall, in the spring, as well as the summertime. So you get 3 opportunities to take those. They are in no particular order. So you can take them in any order you choose. The one suggestion we do make is to take the Management 6010 before the Management 6850. The courses are not a sequence, but just because of the level of difficulty, we usually recommend taking the Management 6010 before the Management 6850. Underneath that is your accumulating courses. So the first one there, the Admin 6981, that is your comp exam, and you will be eligible to take that once you have completed all your essential courses. The comp exam just covers the essential courses in the program. And then underneath that is your Admin 6980, which is the MBA portfolio. We do have information on our website posted for both of those accumulating courses. So if you go to our website, you look under current students, and there is details for both of those posted. So if you wanted to see what's involved with the comp exam, the grading scale, if you wanted to look at past review sessions that were done with the faculty that teach those classes, you are welcome to do so ahead of time. And then underneath that is the focus area courses. Now, this is going to change based on what your particular concentration is. So for this one, this is for the management concentration students, which happens to be our largest concentration. So it'll apply to quite a few of you, but it will change based on what your concentration is. For the executive on campus and the executive online, you will just have an elective requirement under the focus area courses. You won't have specific concentration courses that you will take. And then if you look at the bottom, there's an elective for the majority of the concentrations. The traditional concentrations, they do include an elective course. The one exception to that is cybersecurity. Cybersecurity has 5 specific courses that you will take. They do not offer an elective course to their concentration students. All right. So a couple notes on the right-hand side, you can see we have it dictated. One thing to remember in terms of grades is the Admin 6020 is the only course in the program that you must receive a B or better in. If you receive a B- or lower, you will be required to retake that class and to file what we call a discounted grade, which allows you to retake that class. The rest of the classes in the program, you need to receive a C or better to be able to apply it to your program. If you receive below a C, which is like a C- or below, you will be required to retake that particular course to be able to apply it to your program. Was there anything you wanted to add, Kirsten, for the program plans?
Pay attention to them. Use them as a resource. They're very helpful for tracking. Lauren will provide it to you every term. So make sure you're saving those emails with that in there. And you can use that for registration purposes. Definitely. I think that's it. Great job, Lauren. Move on now.
There is a question for an upcoming course for Admin 6010. Apparently no one reached out to this student about the Monday session. So I just want to say you can actually log into Canvas and you can see your courses in Canvas. So my recommendation would be to do that. I believe professors have until tomorrow to upload their syllabus. And so I'm actually in the MBA program right now. So I've been in Canvas all week checking out to see if my professors have uploaded their syllabus and what textbooks I need. So that's where I go from all my information. That's where you're going to go to find out, you know, when classes are, where you meet, upload your homework, all that good stuff. So if it's not showing up in Canvas yet, give it until tomorrow. And then how do you
Reach out to the
navigate?
instructor directly.
Yes, thank you.
The second question we have is when you talk about other courses being a grade of C and having a 3.0 GPA. Yes, you do need to maintain a 3.0 GPA at all times. If you dip below that, you do go on academic probation and then you work with DeLorean and you are required to meet with Ernie. It's not a fun meeting. It's not a fun meeting, but it's an encouraging meeting usually. He's very helpful. So if say you do happen to get a C at some point, you need to make sure you have an A to basically balance it out to maintain that 3.0 GPA. It is required that you have that 3.0 GPA in order to graduate. So that's why DeLorean sends you those check-ins. That's why he is available for advising. That's why we encourage you to speak to your professors and communicate early and often so that we can make sure that you are being successful within your coursework and your MBA journey. There's a lot of Canvas questions. We're going to save those to the end. We can circle back around. So we want to make sure that we can move through, and then there will be a lot of open question time at the end. And we will stick around to make sure that all of those things are answered and taken care of for you. Okay, so DeLorean, do you want to talk about the boot camps a little bit?
Yeah. So the MBA program does not require prerequisites. And so we have a lot of students from different backgrounds. Some of you are coming from backgrounds that do not include business. So what we've created for you is the MBA boot camps. There is one boot camp for each essential course, except for the Management 6850. So there are a total of 6 boot camps that you will have access to. The boot camps are located in Canvas, and these were designed to prepare you for the course content that you will see in the essential courses that you will take. Now, our recommendation is to complete the boot camp that corresponds with the essential course that you're going to take next. So you can go through that. If you want to go ahead and just do all the boot camps, say like over the winter break or over the summer break, you are welcome to do so. You do have access to all 6 boot camps as soon as you're admitted to the program. So we are currently enrolling the students into the boot camp modules. So what will happen is you will get an invitation from Canvas to access the boot camp. All you have to do is click on that invitation and it will take you to the boot camp. You'll have to log in. So make sure you have your Duo device and your login handy so that you'll be able to access the boot camp information. Each boot camp takes about 10 to 20 hours of work. Some of the boot camps do contain what we call assessments. So basically tests or quizzes. You do have to get a certain percentage to be able to consider that as passing. So you want to make sure to take your time on those and read the content before taking the assessments. We do check your progress at the end of every term. And once you've completed all the boot camps, we will go ahead and check off that checkbox on your program plan to indicate that you've completed that requirement for the program. And as it says, you must achieve a passing score on the assessments of each module to consider a passing score. You do have access in Canvas to the grade area. So you'll be able to see your grades for each assessment, your total completion score of the program. We are looking for 80% completion to mark that off. So make sure that you achieve 80%. You get multiple attempts for the assessments. So if you need to retake an assessment to pull up your score, please feel free to do so. One of the questions instructors will ask us if a student is doing poorly in the program, in their class is, did this student complete the boot camps? And most often the answer is no for the students that do not pass a class or doing poorly in the program. So you'll want to make sure to complete those boot camps.
Just a note that these boot camps are required. You do have to enroll in them. They are required for graduation. So part of your advanced candidacy and signing up for your graduation check, DeLorean does go in here. and do an audit and make sure that you are completing these, and that they are marked as complete or done, the assessments are completed with the passing score. Otherwise, you don't get to file your graduate. So, please make sure to do them. You get multiple chances on anything of it. If you do have any issues, you're welcome to email Lauren or myself, and we are happy to provide assistance with any of those things. It's a good review for a lot of it. So just, if you've been out of the classroom for a while or you need assistance, it's a good review. I don't necessarily enjoy it, but it was helpful when I did it, especially for the accounting one. I'm not gonna say I enjoyed it, but I hadn't taken accounting class in 4 years. And then I started my MBA and I didn't remember things. It was a really good refresher for me to be familiar with terminology and things. Okay. All right. So moving on to Lauren, advancement to candidacy.
Oh, I think there might have been a question about, was there any questions, Molly, about boot camps? I thought I saw one come through.
How to register. So DeLauren mentioned that you'll be sent a email invitation from Canvas that says register for boot camps. And then you click on that and it'll show up in your Canvas to complete.
Yeah, and if you missed the first one, I send them out several times over the course of the semester. So if you accidentally deleted, or you can always reach out to me, ask me to send another one. But I do send them out several times throughout the course of each semester.
Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm. Was there a question about GPA, Molly? About do the boot camps affect our GPA? I think they do not. The boot camps do not affect your GPA. They're a requirement, not part of the program plan, which would affect your cumulative GPA. But we do, like I said, you do have access to see your assessment scores, and we do require at least an 80% completion, overall completion of the boot camps to mark that item as complete. All right. So advancement to candidacy, and I think Kirsten touched on this a little bit when she talked about the GPA. So this advancement to candidacy is basically where your program plan is complete, meaning that all the classes you're going to take are listed. So usually that means your elective course, for those of you that have a free elective, has already been indicated on your program plan, and you've completed at least a minimum of 12 units towards the program. You also need to maintain a 3.0 GPA, so that is a B average, to be eligible to receive your degree at the end of your program, and to remain in good standing, which means not on academic probation. If you drop below that, Graduate Studies will pick your name up and they will send you a notice that you've been placed on academic probation. Now, this is done after the grades have already posted for the term, so it's done retroactively. So for example, for spring, if you were to get, say, 2 C's, it would drop you to, I believe, a 2.0. So you would be placed on academic probation for the spring 2023 term, and that would be placed on, a note would be placed on your transcript that you are on academic probation. Now, that does not automatically transfer over to the next term. So if you were to, say, get 2 A's to counter those 2 C's, that would pull you up to a 3.0, and then you would no longer be eligible for academic probation for the following term. So it is done retroactively, so that's something to keep in mind when you're looking at your GPAs. Next, the Admin 6020, you have to receive a grade of a B or better in order to have that count towards your program. It's the only class we have, again, in the program that requires a B or better. Every other class requires a C or better, with keeping in mind that you have to maintain that 3.0 GPA. And then concentration. So declaring a concentration, all of you in the traditional program declared a concentration when you first came into the program. If you wish to change your concentration, you can. So if you're interested in changing to a different concentration, please feel free to contact me. We can talk about the different concentrations that are offered, and I'll give you information on how to make that change. It's a very easy process. There's a form you fill out. There's a $6 fee, and then we'll go ahead and change your concentration and update your program plan. If you are thinking about changing your concentration and you know right now what you're thinking about changing to, I usually advise students to change as early as possible, because that way, when we do your advising sessions, we're using the correct program plan. that has the correct concentration on it, so I can advise you which classes to take from as early on in your program as possible. So the earlier you make that change, the earlier you make that decision, the better it is, the better your advising sessions are going to be, and you don't have the risk of taking classes that don't count towards your program. And then you want to make sure to complete the boot camps as well. So make sure you're working on that as you go through the program. Did you have anything to add, Kirsten?
Can I have a dual concentration to learn?
Yes, you can. So you can have a dual concentration. The process is the same as changing your concentration. There's a form you will fill out. There's a $6 fee that you'll pay. And then I will update your program plan to reflect both of your concentrations on there. All of our concentrations, it require 3 classes, except for cybersecurity. They require 5 of those focus area courses. So that's something to keep in mind if you're thinking about doing cybersecurity. It is our largest in terms of units concentration we offer.
And you can't double count your classes. No.
Yeah, you have to take 3 unique classes for each concentration, or 5 for the cybersecurity for that focus area.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
All right, so these are some of the forms that you may need to fill out over the course of your program. You don't need to know them all. Basically, you come to me with your need and I will find the right form for you. So we did discuss advancement to candidacy. There's regarding drop a class after census date. So something very important to be aware of is the census date for the term. So if you are in a class, you're struggling, or life happens, you can no longer continue in the class, you want to be aware of census date. If you drop a class before census, then there is no record on your transcript of that class. And the process to drop it is very simple. You just go in and you drop the class. You have the ability to do that for, I believe, the first 2 weeks of the term. After that, there's a form that you'd have to fill out to drop. But it is a very easy process if you drop before census. And like I said, there's no record on your transcript of that class. After census, it becomes harder to drop a class. It requires more permission. You have to get permission from the instructor. You have to get permission from the chair. You have to get permission from Ernie. You have to get permission, in some cases, from me to drop a class. And that class will now appear on your transcript as a withdrawal. It won't affect your GPA if you drop before the 9th, I believe it's the 10th week of the term, but it will be reflected on your transcript as a drop. So it's very important to know what the census day is for each of the semesters. And if you're planning to drop, go ahead and drop before that time. Now, refunds are, depending on which program you're in, refunds are handled differently. So Jolene and George will get into refunds for the online students, but for the on-campus students, refunds are prorated. So the earlier you drop, the more money you'll be eligible to receive from the campus as a refund. So it's important to keep that in mind when you're thinking about dropping a class. Another one, let's see. So the writing requirement, you will see the WRGC, you will see this on your program plan. That indicates the admin 60/20 class for the MBA program. So that's why you have to get a B or better, because it is a requirement of the CSUs that you display proficiency in writing at a graduate level, and getting a B in the admin 60/20 fulfills that requirement. Graduation requirement checks, you will do that as you prepare to complete the program. So I will be sending, when it's time for you to do that, I'll be sending that to you as an item in your progress report to complete, with instructions on how to do that. Leave of absence. If you need to take a break from the program, and we realize life happens, sometimes you just need a break from the program for whatever reason, you can fill out a leave of absence and you can take a break. Now, you can use the leave of absence for up to 4 consecutive terms, so almost 2 years worth. You don't need a leave of absence if you're going to take summer off, and you don't need a leave of absence for the winter intersession. We don't really offer classes during the winter intersession, but if you need a break during the winter intersession, you don't need to file leave of absence. It's mainly for the fall and the spring, because the master students are required to be in continuous enrollment for the fall and the spring term. So if you decide not to enroll for the fall or the spring, after census, you will be discontinued from the program if you don't have a leave of absence on file. So it's very easy to file leave of absence. If you need one, please just reach out to me. I will send you the information on how to fill it out, and then it gets turned in, and that maintains your status in the program while you're taking a break from the program. All right. Probation and dismissals. Ernie, did you want to touch on that a little bit? Since,
Yeah, you don't want to go there. I do want to make a comment though about any issues you might be having with class, with work, with life. The place that I see most often where students get in trouble is something happens in their life, something happens at their work, they fall behind in class, then they disappear, and they don't tell us. They just disappear. They don't tell their instructor. I would encourage you that if anything causes you to start missing classes or falling behind, you need to reach out to DeLorean immediately, and especially your professor as well. People around you are here to help you, but if you go radio silence and disappear, we can't help you. Those are the things that cause you to start stacking up bad grades. Those are the things that may cause you to become on academic probation. It is not our objective to have anybody on academic probation nor dismiss anybody from the program. Our job is to make you successful to the best of our ability. We are better qualified, capable of doing that if you communicate with us. So understand that we understand things happen. We've been doing this a while. This team is seasoned. We know that things happen, and we know how to help you in the early stages to eliminate a problem. So please reach out, and let's not talk about probation and dismissal.
So piggybacking a little bit on what Ernie said, the earlier you address any issues you're having with us, the more options we have available to assist you. The later it gets in the term, the later it gets in your program, the less options we have. So we like to have lots of options available to you. So please, if you're having an issue with a class, we encourage you to speak with the professor, and then also come and speak with us about it, and we can assist you with that. So just one last form I want to talk about, and that's the repeat of course discounted grade. So each student in the master's program gets one repeat of a course / discounted grade. What that means is if you took a course and you did not do well and you need to retake that class, you will file a discounted grade. And what that will do is the university will discount that first attempt from affecting your GPA, and they will only count the second attempt towards your GPA. Now, you only get one of these over the course of your program. So it'd be wise to try to keep that. Well, hopefully you won't have to use it at all. But if you do have to use it, hopefully it'd be later in your program, so there's no chance of you needing to use it again for another situation. Because again, you only get one discounted grade over the course of your program. Any forms you wanted to touch on, Kirsten?
The only thing I like to mention is the 7-year limit. So we would like you to graduate before 7 years. I'm sure you would like to graduate before 7 years.
It's a 2-year program, yeah.
But you know, as we've all mentioned, then you know, life happens, and you go leave of absence, or perhaps you do get discontinued or things like that. And you come back and say you've been 8 years since you finished your classes. There is, you know, a waiver to potentially get those classes recertified, so you do not have to repeat them. Again, you have to work with instructors and things like that. So there is a form here for pretty much every situation. And we have seen and used pretty much all of them. So just communicate with us and let us help you navigate the system, because it's a large one. So we want to make you successful. All right, so it's my turn now. And I am going to give DeLorean a little break and talk about events and student services. So we do a multitude of events through the academic year to give you a full service program and get you encouraged and engaged outside of the classroom. First thing we do is orientation, right? And so this is hopefully the first step in a successful MBA program for you. There is advising semesterly. DeLorean does right before graduate or right before enrollment. He blocks out his entire calendar, sends you a specific email where only you can register, and take his time so that you can be prepared to register when the time comes. If you perchance need advising outside of that time, you again are welcome to do so using our appointment system. At any time, you can seek advising with DeLorean or myself, sometimes Molly, if she's in the office, not out recruiting more people. But you know, I was a former MBA student, just graduated about 18 months ago now. So I did my undergrad here at CSUSB, so I'm very familiar with the university, the professors, the services, and so we are there as a resource, either student-wise or curriculum-wise, to advise you. We
I have a
do
quick, my apologies for the
Yeah.
interruption there,
Yeah.
Kirsten. I have a quick question in the
Mhm.
chat. And I'm hoping you didn't touch on this. I've been answering questions. as you've
No,
been-
so that course is a permissions course to allow you to self-enroll. It is a 0-unit class. You are not charged for it. There is no grade for it. If you are not enrolled in the admin 9992, you don't get to enroll in classes. So you want to be in that class.
You want that.
You want
Thank
that.
you,
good thing.
Kirsten. Thank you.
Though our online students do not enroll themselves, and during the breakout session, Jolene and George will touch on that with the online students, how they manage their enrollments. And moving on, our MBA Passport program is a leadership development program. It is to help you get those soft skills that are so important in the workforce, so you can have a conversation, do presentation, comfortable networking, all of those things that can help propel your career forward, and you know, make you more likable. Hopefully. And so we give you recognition for participating in a minimum of 7 events within an academic year. They do not have to be university specific events either. They can be something for work. Say you're attending a work conference, or you're going and getting an outside certification, or you're engaged in a lot of volunteering, or there's so many things that can qualify within there. If you are curious about anything, if you are participating in anything, please just send me an email. We will distribute a PDF copy of the passport to you. It'll have our events in there and guidelines for what can qualify. How to submit, all of that stuff will be included in there. And that will come out in our welcome email that I will be sending next week to all of our students. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Any questions you have specifically regarding your situation and engagement in the passport, again, use our appointment system, make a student engagement opportunity appointment with me, and we can get you on the right track to completing that program. We do a couple different speaking series and career development series that feed into our passport, namely being the alumni speaker series and our career path series. And so once a month, we will have an alumni come in and speak on a topic that they are an expert in, or perchance their life that has led them into this point, what MBA has done for them. There's a whole multitude of things that can be talked about during that. Just gives you a chance to connect with alumni, see what, if they've had a similar situation, or get inspired, get engaged, things like that. Our career path series is specifically for professional development. And so we will have industry experts or potentially alumni that are experts come back and give workshops about different skills. We do have an upcoming one for time management and a couple other things that are really good. So definitely keep an eye out for those. Both of those series are recorded and posted to our YouTube if you do not get the chance to make it in person. Again, fully virtual via Zoom. So you can tune in on your drive home or on your way to class or something like that and kind of listen while you're doing other things. A couple other programs that we run are our MBA student ambassadors, and I'll go in depth into that in the next slide. And then our MBA service team. Again, we just really want to get you engaged and involved to your comfort level and maybe a little outside of that, right? Because that's what gives you professional growth. That's what gives you personal growth, is getting a little bit uncomfortable and seeking those development opportunities. Lastly, we do have something called the Coyote Network here at CSUSB, and it is LinkedIn for CSUSB. And so it's a great way to connect with potential mentors, people that work in your industry, previous graduates, current students. And so it's a really cool thing that our alumni services offer. And we do have an MBA group so you can connect with other alumni that are there. As I mentioned, our MBA student ambassadors are highly visible members of our student body. So we like to have a representation of our students, right? We have students from different backgrounds, different cultures, different areas, international students, domestic students. We want to make sure that there's someone there that you're comfortable speaking to, perchance if you're not comfortable coming and talking to us in the office. Or that there's a face recognizable within your classroom that you can use as a resource, because we're not always there on campus when you're in class. So you can say, hey, you know, I know that you're a student ambassador. I have a question about this, right? And they'll be like, oh, well, you can find that here, or you need to go talk to Kirsten, or you need to make an advising appointment with Lauren. And so you can get all of that advice from them. If you feel like that is something that you're wanting to apply for, we do applications every semester during the fall and spring, depending on availability of spots. You do get professional development funds, you do get networking opportunities, you do get personalized mentorship from myself and from Ernie. You get really cool MBA swag, and there's a lot of different cool things that we can get you engaged and involved in, and give you recognition for potentially doing it already. Right? If you're highly engaged in a club or in student government, or you're really engaged in like a volunteering thing, I like to have students from all over there to mentor their fellow students. Yeah. I have one of my newly inducted student ambassadors is, I'm not going to give her exact age, in her 50s. So all walks of life, all backgrounds, doesn't matter age. There are certain requirements, and we do want to make sure that there is a correct fit for you within the program. Again, individual, I hold interviews for those things and make sure that you are a high quality student, that the program is right for you, and we are right for you as well, right?
So Ike is asking, where do we sign up?
As I mentioned a little bit earlier, there is an email that I send out at the beginning of the term if I do have open availability for students. And so it is a application. There is some information that you will have to return. So like a letter of recommendation, current resume, things like that. You will have to include the current availability. All of that stuff will go into your application. I do oversee the program. So I review those, I hold interviews if you are qualified, and then we make determinations based on current availability. So they're full for spring. So towards the beginning of fall, maybe towards the end of spring even, I will send out another call out email for fall to replace any of my graduating or not returning student ambassadors. So just keep an eye out for email from us. Very important to look through emails, right?
Yes, all the good stuff comes through email.
Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, our service team, we do like to give recognition to students that volunteer. We do like to get engaged with volunteering. Every Thanksgiving holiday time, myself with one of the other staff members who's now one of my student ambassadors and in charge of all the service team stuff, we host a food and toy drive. And so this year we were able to raise, was it $2,000 in food for donations to the campus den, and then $3,500 worth of toys that we gave out to a charity to distribute to the local Inland Empire community. So we had a great time doing that and getting engaged and sending that out. There's lots of things that the campus does that we encourage you to join into. They have a huge day, they call it Coyote Cares Day, that they come and they'll bus people out to different food banks, or you volunteer on campus. There's lots of cool stuff you can do. So, and then occasionally I will send out opportunities for you to volunteer. So lots of fun stuff. If they do bring service trip backs and you are actively engaged in volunteering, there is an opportunity for us to sponsor you to go on that service trip. Previously, they have done things like they've done international trips, which I don't know if those are coming back, but they've done more local ones too. Like this picture here is from Louisiana. They've done Catalina, they've done Tijuana, they've done a lot of different really cool stuff. So they think they were supposed to do South Dakota on an Indian reservation. So lots of really cool things that the campus does, and we want to push you into doing and taking advantage of and help you do, right? Okay, so student services. Molly, would you mind covering that for a moment for me?
Absolutely. So there are many resources available, not only as part of the MBA program, which I sense you're getting a sense of, but also part of the business college, and then even more resources as a student of Cal State San Bernardino on the university campus. So we have services for students with disabilities. We have services for international students. We have a gym. So it's actually located right next to our business college. So it's great to just, you can leave class, go right to the gym. So you can meet your health goals too. We also have counseling services for students and an excellent Veteran Success Center. We also have an art museum. And then we also have a career center. And so we actually have a professor, and I know that Ernie mentioned this earlier, Pamela Abel. She specializes in resumes, and she would be more than happy to meet with you to finesse your resume. And so something to keep in mind, you can always reach out to the MBA office. We'd be happy to get you connected with her to do that. And then there is an elective, and we've talked about that a little bit already. But what's great about the elective is that you can choose exactly how you want to use it. What do you want to study? What areas is of interest to you? Are you interested in studying hospitality management, maybe project management, maybe leadership, a specific class on leadership? There are so many options. And another option is a study abroad. So we actually offer a number of study abroads throughout the year. Many of them are actually either during winter or over the summer. And so they go places like Rome, Greece, Ireland, South Korea, and many more. And because this program is geared toward working professionals, you're not going for a semester. You're going for like a week to 2 weeks. So very doable for those of us who have full-time jobs. So something to consider for your elective. If you want more information, you can always contact us in the MBA office. We'll be more than happy to share. And then on the campus, we also have a number of different sporting events that you can attend if you would like to. And then something near and dear to my heart is Oberschad Den. That is a place where students who are maybe having trouble making ends meet can go and get a food and toiletries, and it's an excellent service that's offered on this campus.
There is also one at PDC. So if you happen to live out in that area closer to the PDC campus, there is an Oberschad Den there. And they let me know that the stuff that we donated also went to that food bank as well. They transported some of it.
Oh, I love that. That's
Yeah,
great.
it was cool to see. So definitely take advantage of this. They are there to help you with all of that stuff. So there's lots of services. If you have questions about services, or we haven't mentioned something, or you're not comfortable mentioning something here, you're welcome to reach out to me directly. And I can get you in touch with the correct department for any of that assistance or engagement or whatever fun thing it is,
Kirsten, do you want to mention the Speaking and Writing Center real quick?
I did mention that.
Oh,
Talk about those
that's
things.
excellent.
So we do have two really cool things here within the Jack Brown College that are available to online and on-campus students, because I have harassed enough people. So we do have a professional writing office specifically for business students, right? So it is there to help you with business writing. And you can make a virtual appointment. You can go in person if you like. And so it's a very cool way. A lot of your professors will require you to go there or give you extra credit to go there. So definitely take advantage of that service. And then there is a speaking center. So if you need interview help or presentation prep, or you just want to get comfortable speaking in front of another person because you're not particularly comfortable doing that, they can help you with individual appointments. And they're great. They're all communication or MBA students, and so they're there, speaking and doing things. And if Ernie gets the Toastmasters Club off the ground.
Sure, right after I get my GA, which you haven't talked about those yet, but yeah, we are going to launch a Toastmasters Club this semester.
We will be able to hopefully get you guys involved in that as well and get those public speaking skills beefed up, right? Because it is a muscle. If you don't use it, you lose it. And
Absolutely.
is an award-winning speaker, and Molly, who is also an award-winning speaker. They both told me that they still get a little butterflies, flutters before going up in front of crowds. It's 100% completely normal thing. It's just being able to get comfortable with that feeling and overcoming that fear, right? Okay, and other services, there's lots and lots of stuff on campus. Please take advantage of it. All right, so there are a few useful applications here that we would suggest that you download. If you're going to use the gym, download that CSUB Rec Sports one. There is a tour app, there is Zoom, Gmail for your student communication. There is a Canvas app so you can, keep up on all those deadlines for your classes. Don't do your homework through your phone. It doesn't look right, doesn't function right, and your professors can always tell when you have done your homework through your phone. So just use it as a way to make sure that you're keeping on track of everything, right? But if you have maybe a Chromebook or a tablet or something like that, it is a great application for you to use on those. Our MBA website is useful for you to use all the time, not just to find out about getting into the program. So we will post upcoming events on there. You will find information about the passport on there. That's where you can find how to book appointments with us. Lots of stuff on there to be helpful for you. And so just click around on that really great website. It's very helpful and hopefully easy to navigate. We try very hard to make sure that it's useful for you. And now we are going to host the online breakout session. So what I'm going to do is, one moment. Oh, I stopped my sharing. Zoom. And share my screen. All right. Sorry, I didn't pop out this. Here we go. I apologize. Okay, so I'm going to turn it back over to DeLauren to talk about MBA concentrations.
All right, thank you, Kirsten. So as was mentioned earlier, those of you that are in the on-campus executive, you will not have a concentration. You will just take an open elective that you will get to choose. For that, you can choose any 5,000 or 6,000 level business class. So if you have any questions, please refer to your program plan. It lists out on the right-hand side the elective courses that you may take for your executive MBA. For those of you in the traditional program, you selected a concentration when you came into the program. So your concentration will be reflected on the screen. Let's see. Are we able to close the breakout area, Kirsten, or does that have to stay open? Oh, I think I might have lost her. Okay. Hopefully you can see the majority of the concentrations on there. And as we mentioned earlier, you can do a dual. So if there's two concentrations that you are interested in, you can absolutely do both of those. So for the majority of the programs, the majority of our concentrations, it will add an additional 3 classes to your program if you want to do a dual. So that's something to keep in mind. For the cybersecurity, it's going to add an additional 5 classes to your program. So it's going to take most likely an additional semester if you're adding the cybersecurity to your existing concentration, just because of the number of classes that are required for that particular concentration. If you are interested in changing a concentration, if you're interested in adding a concentration and doing a dual, please go ahead and reach out to me. You can just send me an email letting me know you're interested in the process. I will send you the information you need to add a concentration or to change a concentration. You'll be able to fill out the form. You'll pay the $6 fee, which is paid online. And then once that's all done, I will update your program plan and send you the updated program plan. So that way, when you come in for advising, we are using the most current program plan that has all the course information relevant to your particular concentration. Let me think. Is there anything else regarding concentrations you think I'm missing, Ernie or Kirsten?
No, I think you got it good. You're covering it very well. I would just comment about the idea, the notion about a dual concentration, and even those who are unique enough to think maybe 3. We're looking for quality of program, not quantity. So if you think of what you want a dual concentration, I really suggest you come in and let's have a chat. But I think you've covered the concentrations well.
Okay.
For the concentration, cybersecurity is considered STEM. So if you are an international student, it does give you 3 years of OPT. The other thing that I would like to mention is the human resource concentration that we have up here is not live yet. So it has a projected live date of fall 2023. So this coming fall. We have fingers crossed that everything will go good with that and that will actually happen. So if that is what you were aiming for, you are welcome again to do that change of concentration form with DeLauren, set up your advising appointment and move forward. So we are looking forward to that concentration going live 100%.
Yeah. So if you're thinking about changing it again, I advise you to come in for either advising session, or if you've already determined what you want to do that earlier in your program. That way we can get your program plan updated. And when I do your advising sessions, I can advise you as to what classes to take that will be relevant. Because what we don't want to happen is you do it later in your program and you've already taken some classes that cannot transfer over to the concentration you're changing to. So those are basically what I call empty classes, because you won't be able to change those over or basically transfer those over to your new concentration. So it's best to come in early and make that decision early. We do have students who decide to add a concentration like their last term or right before their last term. And, I can work with that, but it's just better if you think about it and then make the decision earlier in your program. Just gives us more options to work with. So that's something to keep in mind as you go through the program. All right. I think this is you, Ernie.
Academic departments. Well, you kind of covered this a little bit. Go ahead and flip the next slide. Let's see what we have going on. I think we're introducing department chairs. There's Dr. Mike Stahl, Golden Apple winner, entrepreneurship instructor and director of the School of Entrepreneurship. He's my prof boss. Anything that you would want to know about entrepreneurship, that's your guy. Next slide, please. These are just department chairs that we can equate you with. If you find your concentration, contact information is there, and we would encourage you to reach out. So let me have the next slide. Dr. Conrad Shio is the newly seated chair of cybersecurity and global supply chain management. Conrad is an amazing individual, very knowledgeable and experienced in the program. Dr. Conrad is available. He's been an instructor in the college for a while and is now the newly appointed chair. We should probably update his photo, but other than that, he's a good guy. Next slide, please. And Dr. Stella Hsu, she is the management chair. Stella also has been an instructor in the college for many years, is very experienced and knowledgeable about the program as well as Jack Brown College. Stella also would be your management concentration chair. Next slide. Next slide, please. No? I'm not kidding. Hey, Dr. Haken Brown. Okay, Dr. Haken Brown. Also, there's a high school yearbook photo. Dr. Brown is the newly appointed marketing chair. Haken, again, all of our chairs have taught in the program. All of our chairs are highly knowledgeable and experienced. So Dr. Brown is a good guy. I don't know if we have any marketing concentration folks, but if we do, Haken Brown would be a good person for you to reach out and talk to. Or if you're considering marketing at all, talk to Dr. Brown. Let's go next slide. I think I saw my buddy Taewon. Go ahead and do the next slide. There he is. Dr. Taewon Yang, I think, has been the department chair for accounting and finance forever. He has been as long as I've been on campus. So very knowledgeable. He also teaches in the program, as do most of our chairs. In fact, all of our chairs do teach in the program. Dr. Yang is a good guy. For those of you in the accounting or finance concentration, that is your department chair. Next slide, please. That's it. So now we're at the end. I don't know who takes this. Kirsten, is this you? Molly,
We
is
are
this
here
you?
and ready for
Oh, look, we
Aw.
have a new grad.
I lost my babysitter. So we are here and ready for MBA specific questions. Our breakout room will be ending shortly. So we want to answer specific things to MBA. And then stick around until the breakout room comes back, and I will post a survey for a very cool MBA swag item. So ask your questions. You can unmute yourself, you can put it in the chat, however you'd like to do that.
And just in lieu of questions, until any come in, if you have any, you are welcome to put them in the chat. If you want to reach out to us individually, we're more than happy to connect with you that way as well. And so I'll make sure that our emails are there. I think they're probably going to be included in the presentation, but just if not, I think many of you have mine. And if not, I will be happy to put that in the chat here. I did put Kirsten's in, and I'll also add DeLoren's. DeLoren is DEWest@csusb.edu. That's going to be a great way to connect with him regarding any questions about classes or your program plan, etc. And I can speak from the perspective of being a student in the program. I am going into my second semester. And so just some thoughts that, I have many colleagues who are doing it and they have families and they're working full time. So it is totally doable. We have some excellent professors, and I've already, within a few weeks, I was implementing things that I learned in my classes. So I'm very excited for you all to experience that. Now I'm seeing we have some questions. Is there overlap in marketing management and the management concentration? DeLoren, do you want to answer that?
Yes, I will. So each of the concentrations has unique focus area courses. So the majority of the concentrations will require you to take, say, 2 out of the 3 focus area courses that are listed there. So you get to choose which 2 of those 3 you want to take. And then you have an open elective class. So all of our concentrations, except for cybersecurity, has that open elective class option. So for example, for marketing, if you wanted to take marketing 6100 and marketing 6400, you can. And then for your third class, if you wanted to take, say, the marketing 6900 as your third class and which would count as your elective as well, you're welcome to do so. Or if you just wanted to say, take 2 of the marketing classes that are listed there out of the 3, and then for your elective, you want to take something in entrepreneurship, you can do that as well. Or if you want to take something in the management field, such as international management or human resources management, you can take that class as your elective if you're in the marketing concentration. And the same is true for management. There are 3 management focus area courses. You only have to take 2 of the 3. And then for your elective, you can take the 3rd management class that's listed there as your elective, or you can take something in a completely different field. You want to take something in cybersecurity, you want to take something in supply chain management, accounting, finance, you are welcome to do so as well.
I'm seeing another question here for clarification. If you are doing a dual concentration, you're taking 3 classes each?
That's correct. So each concentration, besides cybersecurity, will add 3 individual classes to your particular concentration. So if you were doing 2 concentrations and you're not doing cybersecurity, you'll do a total of 6 focus area courses, 3 for each of your concentrations.
Excellent. Thank you, Delores.
Unless you decide to dual with cyber, and then you're doing the 5 cyber concentration classes and then the 3 for the other concentration. But basically, you have to do a full course load of concentration for any that you add on.
And Sonia is asking, I'm enrolled in the in-person executive program. Does this mean I can't have a concentration, just an open elective? And the executive MBA program does not have a concentration. Now, that doesn't mean you can't switch. You can absolutely switch to the traditional MBA program with a concentration. So you can absolutely do that. And that's very easy to do. You just reach out to us in the MBA program, submit a form, pay a $6 fee. It's very easy. So yes, and there is 1 elective in all program plans.
And in most cases, it's only adding on 2 courses. So if you get to that point and you say you take an accounting elective and you fall in love and you want to take more, all you do is you declare, and hopefully that accounting elective counted, and then you take 1 more, and then you still have an open elective at that time. So it gives a lot of flexibility in moving through the program.
Okay, any other questions?
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes, hi, Sarah.
Okay, hi. I'm in the executive in-person class 2, and I'm also on the fence about switching over to the traditional because there's several concentrations that I'm interested in, especially the new or newly starting HR management concentration. So how soon should I decide on that and switch over? Like before next semester, before the fall? How soon should I switch from executive to traditional if I want to do that?
I would say if you know what concentration you want to go into, then I would say you could take the admin 6010 and the admin 6020 in your first term. Then in your second term, if you're kind of on the fence between 2 concentrations, you could take the elective course that corresponds with those concentrations, let's say accounting. So you take the accounting 6060. And if you're interested in, say, management, you could take the management 6010, take both of those in your second term. And then by your third term, you'll be in a position to kind of make a decision on which concentration you want to choose, because you've been exposed to both of those concentrations in your second term.
Okay, so definitely by my second or third term, I should decide, because I'm on the fence between 5 concentrations, which was only 2, but there's 5 that I'm like, I like this one. Oh, and I also like this one. So
yes, because the majority of our students will take the two I'm trying to remember what the name of those are. The 2 foundation courses first, and then in your second term, you'll take 2 essential courses, 2 or 3 essential courses, And then in your third term, you'll start getting into your focus area, because a lot of the focus area courses do have an essential course prerequisite that you have to take before you can start taking your focus area courses. So generally speaking, you'll start taking your focus area courses in your third term. So I would say by your third term, if you're prepared to make a decision, that would be best. That way we can direct you as to what focus area courses to start taking.
Okay, sounds good. And I apologize in advance for all the conversations we're going to have when I call you about this.
That is fine. So for everyone if you've received an email from me, which you all should have at some point, in my signature, there's a link to the book and advising appointment. So that's usually the easiest way to do it. You just click on that link. It shows you my availability. I think it schedules out to 2 weeks, and just pick a time and day that works for you. The default is on Zoom, so you don't have to come into the office to see me. We'll just show up on Zoom. But if you do, you do want to do an in-person advising session, you can just put a note in there that you prefer in person, and that way I'll expect you in the office at that time and day.
Great, sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We have had a couple questions about course load and how many you're recommending to take, and I apologize for the background noise. It depends on your situation, right? And so typical for graduate students and full-time for graduate students is 2 classes at a time. I worked full-time, I have children. I did 2 classes at a time, and it's what worked right for me. And so you can switch back. You could take 1, you could take 2, you could take 3. It just depends on what works for you. You could take a semester off, you can take summers off. Do what's going to be most successful to you. Like, don't take accounting and finance together if you're not an accounting and finance person, and then add in like management, right? Or maybe you have a crazy busy time. Molly has crazy busy time in fall, and so she's going to do spring and summer and take fall off. And so you need to make sure that you're setting yourself up for success, and not letting your professional life suffer at the same time. And so, but if we do see things going on, if we see your GPA dipping, anything like that, the Warren will let you know, and he will get in contact with you and say, hey, maybe you should scale it back on the amount of classes that you're taking, or maybe it's time to take a break and get back on track, right? And so we will always let you know what we think is the best for you academic wise. And 3 courses at a time. If you don't have a lot of life commitment, it's doable.
If you don't have a life.
I wouldn't take any right now. 3 classes. That was a screaming thing in the background. So it depends on you. It's doable, but it's hard. It's not easy. Not that grad school is easy. So depends on you.
I see we have a question from Doris. Doris, do you want to go ahead and ask your question? You're on mute, Doris? Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
sure. Can you do the accounting last? And finance?
You're referring to the essential courses?
Yes.
So the answer is yes. I mean, you are in control of how your classes are scheduled. So after your first term, you will get to pick which classes you want to take. So if you wanted to split up and say, take, accounting later and then finance towards the end, you're welcome to do so.
Yes.
One thing to keep in mind, though, is that in order to be able to sit for the comp exam, you have to have completed all your essential courses. So you want to make sure that you're doing a mixture of the focus area courses and the essential courses as you go through the program, so that when you get to the end, you don't have, say, 2 essential courses left and are not able to sit for the comp exam until the following term. So it's a good mixture. And that's why I would advise you to come schedule an appointment, come see me. We'll talk about your program. Like Kirsten mentioned, about 2 weeks before it's time for you to register for the next term, I send out a invitation for all the students to schedule advising with me. So there's an electronic link in there. You just click on that. It shows you all the availability, and you can pick a time to come talk about the following term. Because by then, usually the schedule's out. So we can look at the actual schedule when we're doing your advising session and pick out which classes would be best for you.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
And I'm finding just from my own experience that if you're doing a mix of classes, for example, I'm doing 2 classes per semester, and that's working best for me, working full time. I'm doing like a management class and a finance class. So 2 different kinds of classes. So you're not just doing papers for 2 classes, massive papers for 2 classes. You're doing papers and then you're studying formulas in the other class. So it's kind of a balance. So just my own personal experience, that seems to work.
Molly-
Sorry.
Oh,
I just
go ahead,
wanted
Kirsten.
to welcome back our online students. We're doing open questions now. I want to thank everyone for attending. Stick around. In just a minute, I will be posting a link for you to get a very cool MBA hoodie. So you just fill in your contact information and I will be mailing you a hoodie. Thank you everyone for attending. We are staying to answer more questions.
And we would also like to welcome our newest member of our MBA team, Mr. Dean. That little cutie that Kirsten is holding.